Donald Trump has just sat down with Joe Rogan ahead of the US election next month to basically talk about, well, I guess all things politics. The episode hasn't actually dropped yet, but this little nugget has been released online, which is Donald Trump talking about UFOs, aliens, and everything that he basically knows about alien disclosure and stuff like that. And we're going to take a look at it because, obviously, as someone who was the president and could possibly become the president again by the end of the year, you know, anything that he says about UFOs and any promises he makes could be really good for the UFO community. Now, I don't want to dabble in US politics because it's not my place to do so and I'm not educated enough to do so. But, you know, let's take a look at what Donald Trump had to say on the Joe Rogan Experience recently.
People coming from space, you know.
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Oh, very interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
How's that work? Is it like super
I
top
think
secret?
I can tell, you know.
Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I
Yes.
want, right? But no. But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure, I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots.
Okay, let's just first of all talk about the fact that he's just said that, you know, Area 51's not really his thing. No, not Area 51. Aliens and UFOs is not really his thing. Like, I mean, he's obviously talking about prior to getting into the White House, but he's going to talk about now sitting down with jet pilots, which may have swayed his opinion on the matter.
That say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as your
I've had a
son.
couple in here. Commander David Fravor.
Yeah.
I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very, very compelling with
Very
video
compelling.
evidence, radar evidence.
I interviewed,
Ryan Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people. Perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know. And it was round, which is, in theory, a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations
No.
about? Was this your personal interest?
No, a little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, you know, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
Come on. Right, this is going to be... I mean, it's not about what does he think, it's about what do you know? Because obviously being in the White House and being in the head of, you know, US politics, you've got to know. And he's obviously being very careful. And he has to be very careful because national security and all the rest of it. But
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, you know, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but maybe it's
maybe
a
there was
different
life
kind of
there
life.
at one point in time. This is the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe is
not been a big
vast.
thing for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a lot of people thought, for a little while that was you know, one of these things. So,
well, that's a lot of the speculation too, that some of these drones that hover over battleships, that these are Chinese drones, and that they're not UFOs.
They could be also.
There's some super sophisticated.
But I did interview, let's say 3 or 4 guys that, and without tremendous interest, if you had them, as I said, you'd love to have them as your children. Solid, beautiful people. They said, sir, there's something there. You know,
there's something there.
Said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of
They're
them.
not conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, just the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, they clocked that thing going from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something.
But surely Donald Trump knows about this. He would have read the files. I mean, if I became the US president, right? Obviously, you know, there's all the policies and, you know, you've got to look after the people first. That's first and foremost. But on my downtime, I wouldn't be out playing golf. I would be reading up on all of the UFO files because I would be like, what have we got here? What do we know? And I'd be scanning through that shit to try and find out if there's any little green men on this planet because, geez, like, that is just something that, first of all, tickles my curiosity, but also, like, I'm just fascinated by it, and I think ultimately the world should know about it. And I'd be asking the questions like, can I just, leak this? Not as me. We can just do it on an anonymous Twitter account or whatever. Elon Musk loves his anonymity. Just, and just see what the response is that I get.
In the water, it was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence. Whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if they're inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so like, what is that? And it doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
when you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
Oh yeah, I flew with the Blue Angels once.
Yeah,
I got to fly. I guess
and
it's
those
an
are older,
FA-18.
and those are older machines.
And they're crazy.
When you fly in some of these things,
oh my
it's
God,
amazing. Yeah, but
yeah, I can imagine.
You got to be special.
But these things that these people are encountering are far superior to what we know of.
Yeah.
Is it possible that there's some military or government program that you weren't, that they didn't tell you about?
Ooh.
I think I had a great relationship with the military, basically. But, I didn't like certain people. I would have gotten them out if I thought, if the election was different, I would have fired, all of them quickly. Most of them I did fire. Biden should have fired every military person involved with Afghanistan. He should have had a lot of firings. If you look at him, he told Israel not to do anything, and at least Israel's not going to look at a bomb the way they would have been. Think if they listened to Biden. They'd be waiting for a bomb to drop on their head right now. He's been wrong about so much. I guess you'd have to say that she's been wrong, too, because, she always said they made the decision together. But Israel didn't follow his advice, and I think it was a very... the Middle East is rapidly changing. There are prophets that say the world will come to an end in the Middle East. You know that, right? And we have weapons today.
Okay, so that's obviously where they go on to talk about a lot more political things that I personally don't want to really touch on because I don't know a lot about it. But it is very interesting to hear Donald Trump, a former US president and possibly soon to be president, talk about the UFO topic and talk about it in such a way where he obviously doesn't say that he knows everything about it, but kind of, alludes to the fact that there might be something more. And the fact that he's sat with these pilots and spoken with these pilots and has had some interesting conversations, I think screams volumes. But what do you think? Do you think that Donald Trump knows more than he's letting on here? Do you think he should release any information that he does have? Even if, well, at this point, if he releases nothing, the internet would just be like, oh, well, you're just covering up. But maybe there genuinely isn't something. I mean, there's got to be because the proof says otherwise. But again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button. And until next time, I'll speak to you later.